Hi everybody, this is Chris. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, we're going to be making some earrings, some pieces of jewelry on pumpkins. So it can be, the theme can be Halloween or just for the fall season. And I've made these cute little earrings that I will show you in a close-up just after this. And also I decided to make a little ring. So here's my ring. Where is it? Okay. Here's the ring. It's quite big. You can make it much smaller. You can make a pendant if you don't want to make a ring. But it's really super easy. And I'm going to use an air dry clay for this because if I just make one pair of earrings and a pendant, I don't need to, prepare a big oven, and it's not very economical. And also this kind of polymer clay is cheaper than the ones that you cook in the oven, at least here where I live. So you can, of course, replace this by any other materials you like or your favorite brand. I'm going to use the Cleopatra brand that we find here in France, and it's called WePam. It's a very lightweight dough, if you wish, that is going to air dry quite quickly, and it doesn't have any bad smell to it. It's very flexible and really solid, and you can make a whole bunch of this with this. And yeah, I'll show you this. And you can decorate them, make them as big as you wish. If you want to have a big pendant to make mini to give or offer to your friends, or also that could be a great idea for craft fairs, not only for Halloween, but for the fall season. So with no further ado, let's go to the table and start making these pumpkins. So here we are. I'm going to show you my little earrings here that I've done. And I used white in the beginning. I didn't color my dough first at the beginning, my clay, so I just put some varnish, orange varnish on top, so it makes that nice, very shiny color. You've got the little tail here, you've got the leaves on the top, and you have even a little bling underneath, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Even though it's very small, it seems complicated, but it's very easy to do. And a earring hook, same thing for the ring. A little something really funny and nice to do. Okay, it's very thick, okay, compared to your hand, but I think it's really funny and cute. And if you don't want to do the ring, you can always do a pendant, and that will be nice as well. If you do make a pendant, make it kind of bigger so you can see it, because that would be a little bit small. And I just glue it down with a very good glue like E6000, everybody knows, underneath here. I try not to put, I will try to do something better. I will put a bit more varnish on it here on the side, but when you want to glue something, glue it directly onto the natural clay. Don't put it on paint. If you want to paint it, that's fine, but don't glue it on the paint because it can flick off. The paint might flick off and you might lose your pumpkin. So always do it on the plain clay, even though it's colored, but not if you have put paint on it. Avoid that. So then you put the paint around it. I will do that later. So what you're going to do first is use your clay. So I'm using this WePam clay. It's from Cleopatra, the brand that we can find here in France and in Europe. And it's an excellent clay because it doesn't have any smell. It's really nice. Even though you put it next to your nose, it smells more like almond, but it's really very soft. You can hardly even smell it. And it's super soft. Okay, so once you take it, always knead your clay before using it. That's really important to do. I've been playing, I've got green on my hands, but that's fine. And then you're going to make a ball shape. And then what I've used is just a ruler, something not too thick, and you're going to start, put it in a way here, it's going to move down, so you'll have some space to move. And then I'm going to put my clay somewhere in the middle here. And I'm going to roll it and pressing down. And the most difficult part here would be to try and come back to where you started. Something like this. And if it's not perfect, you can come back and put it in shape. So it's like if you were about to cut it in half, but you didn't went all the way through. You're going to put it this way, and you're going to do that again. Press down. You don't need to press too hard. All right, and now you've got like 4 pieces here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing, but in the middle of the 2 others. Or try to do that in the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. And try to have always the same pressure there. Trying to see if I'm centered. And last one is going to be right here. Okay, and you've got yourself a little pumpkin. So now you choose which side is nicer than the other one. Just going back here with my ruler, trying to make things look a little nicer. Take your time with this, and if you're not happy, you can always, you know, put it back into a ball and redo it again. Might use my X-Acto knife here. And if the center is not really nice, don't worry, because we're going to cover this up with the leaves that you could put also on the bottom. I didn't put anything on the bottom, I just put that on, as you can see. Okay, I need more, how could I say, more varnish also here, but I think I'm going to call it good. I think this one is going to be the bottom because it's the nicest, and we're going to cover this up. So now I'm going to use green clay for the leaves. Knead it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to flatten it out. And I'm going to go back and forth here. I don't want to make something too thin for the leaves. I want to have some texture. All right, maybe a little bit more on that side. I was not even. And now there are many options. You can use this kind of tool. You can use a cookie cutter. You can use also molds, silicone molds like these. Anything will work because it's really easy to work with. I think, isn't this a bit big? Do I have a smaller one? I do have a smaller one. So you could use a little flower like this. All right, then I'm going to push it out. And that could be the center of your pumpkin if you didn't have anything else and you don't feel like cutting it. That would be nice. I think it's a bit small for me, so I'm going to use something a little different. Okay, I'm going to use this one. I like this shape, but I'm not going to leave it as is. You'll see in a second. And if I press down, it's going to give a texture to my leaves. Alright, I'm going to stick it out. Okay, can you see the texture on top of it? Let me come here a little closer. So there's texture. This paste, this kind of dough clay is really, really nice to work with. I'm not going to leave it as is because you can see that it's way too big for my pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off all these little pieces there, and I have a little left over because I just want to use 3 for each. I'm going to cut it there. Let me come a little closer. All right, and now I'm going to put these in shape. I don't want them to be flat. I'm going to curve them a little bit. You can see that? Not all of them, not a lot, just a little tiny bit. So it will have a nicer look. Once it's dry, this clay, you can also sand it down if you need to. A little bit curly. And this one too here. Maybe not as much, and if it's flat, it's okay. So I won't have the same even movement everywhere. While we're at this, Consider using, if you want to put it as a pendant or as earrings, using one of these that you use in jewelry. It's like a nail. I'm sorry, I just forgot the word. And I don't have those with the hooks, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that part off. Trim it off here. All right. I'm going to use round nose pliers and I'm going to bend it. You don't have to do this. It's just because I want to put a little bangle on the bottom of my pumpkin. So turn it around and then put it back in position. And that's where you're going to have a little loop. You're going to do this twice, of course, for each earring. That's not bad. Okay, not completely centered, so I can always come back. And remember, we're going to hide this place here. So you can leave it. I would probably consider leaving this metal piece inside here while it's drying. I think it's better. And now we're going to do the little tail that I've done here. Can you see this? Did I show you that before? There's this little tail. Okay, so now that I've kneaded this one, it's enough. I'm just going to make oh, that's going to be way too much. I just need a little bit for each of my pumpkins. And I'm going to roll it. Roll, roll, roll my boat. It's way too much, but that's fine. I'm going to cut one here, and I'm going to cut I've got green clay, and I'm going to cut the other one, maybe there, and put it back as soon as you know that you're not going to use it again, so it won't dry on you. Okay, once you're happy with it, you can put it in shape, something like that, so it's not too straight. Okay, and leave it to dry. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to try to make a pointy part there and a flatter part because we're going to glue it down later, and just something like that. Skinnier on the top and a bit larger there, so that's going to be your base, and flat if you can do that. Okay, I don't really have a flat base here, and I'm going to make it a bit more pointy, and there you go. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'll come back as soon as everything is dry in about 24 hours, and we'll put our pieces together. So see you in a bit. Alright, my pumpkins now are dry after 24 hours. It might take sometimes longer if it's very humid or if it's cold. If it's hot and dry, it's going to dry very quickly. So normally in 24 hours it's supposed to be dry. And this clay is really lightweight, so even though it can be big, it's not going to be heavy on your ears, because I don't know if you're like me, but I hate wearing pairs of earrings that are too heavy and you can't stand them the whole day on your ears. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take one of these wires, and just for now I'm going to put it there, and just to see, because I'm going to assemble it, I'm going to use my leaves, and I want to make sure to not cover the hole. So I'm going to use the leaves that we've done yesterday. I might come maybe a little tiny closer. Alright, and I'm going to use, to glue them down, some quick drying glue, some super glue there. I think is the easiest way to go. I'm going to just put 3. I think odd numbers are better. I could have used this one, but first it's a bit too thick, and then I thought it was a bit too small. I wanted more volume there. So as you can see, there's some coming up. There's one coming a little flatter. So everything doesn't look the same on all sides. I like the way it is right now. And this is why I was telling you, if you have a wrong side and the back side, don't worry, because there's this part here that is going to be hidden by our leaves. Now what you can do is already think where you want to put this. But before, I want to show you, because I made this little bangle that you can see here on the bottom of it, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to come really close, how to make these tiny bangles. And it's really not hard to do. And you will need round nose pliers, because that is so helpful. And you will need one of these. So, okay, let me show you this first. This is the one that looks like a nail. This one is pretty stiff, okay? It's a hard wire. These, I don't know if it's the same with you, but the ones that have a little ball, they're very, very flexible, which means that we need to secure it when we're doing our bangles, and we're going to do some kind of a wrapping. So I am trying to stretch it out just a little bit. Then I'm going to use this one. I'm going to bead my bead through, of course. And I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to do just a simple loop. I'm going to do some wrapping to really make it secure so it's never going to fall off and unravel. So I'm not going to come too close from my bead. I'm going to come a little upper, so I will be able to do all this wrapping around. Around here seems good. I'm going to bend it. It's really not hard. Then I'm going to change my pliers to this position. Okay, before I was like this. Now I'm going to be like this. And I'm going to come whatever the way you want to do it, this way or the other way. There is no wrong or right. But you're just going to come and wrap around. What I like to do, I think it's easier, is I'm going to help myself on the other hand, and I'm going to really make it tight. And I'm going to do some wrapping like this few times. I did maybe 3 or 4 times. So that's what you have so long. So you can't open this this loop, okay? It's a closed loop, but it makes it really secure because it's so flimsy that if you would do just a simple hook, it's going to open sooner or later and you're going to lose it. Then you're going to trim it. I'm going to use my flush cutters. Always nicer, I think, and easier. All right. And then if you need to, always put your finger to see if you can feel anything sticking out. And if you do, just put it back in. I don't see much here. It's so small. I think it's good. And now I'm going to make this, put it back in place and shapes, making straight. There you go. Now I like it this way. Okay, can you see it? Right? Now I'm going to take this one apart since this is dry now. And I'm going to take the one that I did with you yesterday with the hoop, the loop. I'm going to put this one through. I need to open it a little bit. Feed it there. Oops. Now I need to close it. Close it shut so I'm sure it's not going to fall off. Okay. Now put it back in. All right. And then there are 2 ways. Either you put your tail first because you need to know where this wire comes out to make sure where it goes. I think I like it there, but I think it's more comfortable if I cut it first and do my loop in order to put my earring loop first here. So I'm going to cut it here because it's way too long. I don't need that much. But this one, I made it rather long. There's no wrong or right. If you want to make it higher than your tail, if you want to make it smaller, Let me see. I'm going to do it quite high. All right. And again, I'm going to do my loop. Bend it. This wire is much harder, but it's okay. And do the loop. Feed my earring hook and finish it up. I know it's not easy to show on camera, and I'm going to close it there. Right. And this is good. This is good. And now I'm just going to put my tail there. And again, I'm going to use my hot glue, quick drying glue, super glue, that's the word I was looking for, and putting the tail outwards. So I'm going to hang on to it for a few seconds. And there you go. You've got a finished, beautiful little pumpkin. Again, it can be for Halloween, but not only, just for the season. I think it's really cute. So these, I used directly the colored clay. This clay was white, and I've used varnish. I've just used orange varnish to put on top. So it's already glossy. You can still put some varnish on it, and this is what I'm going to do. I started putting a little bit on varnish of this one. You can see I will put 2 coats. I think it's nicer when it's a little bit glossy, but it's totally up to you if you prefer matte. I would still put some varnish on it to avoid scratching, wear and tear. It's going to protect it in time. If I do always protect my my jewelry. I always put some finish coat on it, just like your nails. So I'm gonna close this one up, and you can use glossy Mod Podge. You can use any kind of varnish. Honestly, on this clay, anything works. So I have a glossy Mod Podge, and I'm gonna finish it up. I want my leaves also to be shiny. I will put it on the tail as well just later. I just want to make sure that it's really well glued onto my pumpkin. And if you don't want to have just one color, what you could use before putting your varnish on it is maybe use a little bit of maybe Distress ink, and with your finger rub it in a little bit, so it's going to go into the crevices, so you'll have darker areas. You can still do it after if you forgot, but doing it before, I think it's better. But I like it the way it is right now, honestly. I think it looks already natural, and I'm not going to do more to it. Sometimes more is, or less is more is less, and it's going to kill it. So I'm just happy the way it looks right now, and I'm going to leave it as is. And remember, I also did the ring. I just forgot where I put it, so never mind, but you saw in the beginning, and you can do a bigger one as a pendant. So please, if you like this video, don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also subscribe and hit the bell button when you know all the notifications coming, and also share on social media. So thank you so much for being here. Take care and see you soon.